Welcome back to Open Window Politics. Today we're going to be going through the 538 projections of, a couple of them here to see which presidential candidate between Harris and Trump is doing well in the polls, as well as some of the other fundamentals and other possibilities to see which candidate has the highest chances of winning. So right off the bat, we have in the Electoral College probability, some of you may not be too happy about this, some of you may be, but Harris is winning 59 out of 100 times. Trump is winning about 41 out of 100 times. So it's still a pretty close race, but Harris certainly has the lead in this forecast. A couple factors that are involved there, and there are quite a few different polls here. There's quite a variety, and with all of these showing Harris having a lead, we can check to see. Okay, we have that poll has Trump up by 4. A couple others, but in pretty much all of these, there's 2 polls here where Trump is leading out of all of them. So generally things are looking pretty good for the Harris campaign, but it'll be interesting to see the breakdown of how that corresponds to Electoral College votes, as well as the general path to 270. So the forecast has changed slightly. We have originally Trump was ahead of Harris by a small margin, and then over just the last couple weeks, Harris has grown the lead and is winning an average of about 289 Electoral College votes to Trump's 249. And then right here we have each of the states. So right now, interestingly enough, we have 2 of the 3 Rust Belt states already characterized as Democratic states, that being the state of Wisconsin and Michigan, already in the Democratic column. We can also, and then here, let's check on Wisconsin. So in Wisconsin, Harris is winning 62 out of 100 times, which is pretty good odds there. And then in Michigan, probably going to be a pretty similar story, even more of a victory, winning 63 out of 100 times. And then we'll check Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, they haven't characterized yet. It's a toss-up state for sure. It's going to be one of probably the most important swing state in the 2024 presidential election. But nonetheless, Harris is winning at 56% of the time, with Trump winning about 44% of the time. And then we have some other states here. We'll go through all these swing states. We have the swing state of North Carolina. North Carolina has tightened up a little bit. Harris is doing a little bit better certainly better than Biden was, and so let's see if it'll load. So in this situation, Trump is winning North Carolina, so he still has the edge about 52% of the time to Harris's about 48% of the time. So there's still a possibility things could go well for Harris. It's going to be a hard state for Democrats to win, but if a lot goes right for them, then it might be a possibility. But right now, in my latest projection, I still have it going towards the Republican candidate, in this case, Donald Trump. But we have some of the polls here. Most of them are quite tight. We have that one poll, which has a very low rating, but that one is saying that Trump is up by about 3 points. Then we have the Trafalgar poll, which also has a terrible rating and has Trump up by 4. But most of these more reputable pollsters are having there be a pretty close race. We have this the New York Times Siena College poll has Harris up by 2. There was quite a lot of shock about that poll when it came out, and then we have a couple other where they're even, and it's a bit of a mixed bag, but nonetheless, Trump is still ahead in the state of North Carolina. So we will now go to the other important, one of the other important Sunbelt states that will be needed for a Trump victory for sure. Democrats don't necessarily need to win these states, but they would be great to have for sure. So in this one, we still have Trump ahead with about 53% of the time winning, and most of these polls having him up. There's one poll that has Harris up, but nonetheless still a Trump victory. It has him winning a good chunk of the time, but it's possible things could change. But right now, and I did predict it, I have the state of Georgia going towards Trump on the presidential level. Then we will go to these other 2 swing states. We'll start out in Nevada. In Nevada, it's going to be a close race, but I do believe that it has Harris in the lead narrowly. Yes, it does. 54 out of 100 times, 54% of the time, has Harris doing pretty well. There's the one poll. They are taking not just polls into the calculations, but there's a couple other factors involved. So in general, Trump is looking pretty good in the polls here. So There's the one poll that has Harris up by 6. I definitely don't see a world where that's going to happen. I mean, I don't see a world where Trump wins the state by 3 either, but I think it's going to be within a point, probably pretty close. But the 538 model is projecting that Harris will be winning the state of Nevada, still a swing state though, so they have not yet characterized it. Then we will go to the state of Arizona. In Arizona, it's going to be a close race as well. Pretty similar results here. We have Harris winning 54 out of the 100 times. Most of these polls have Trump up by a pretty small margin. There's two polls there that have Harris up by 2 and 4 points respectively. Especially that New York Times Siena College poll, pretty reputable option there. It's 3 stars, and it has done, and it's one of the more accurate pollsters, and that one has Harris up by 4. Again, I don't think that's going to be a possibility. It's going to be a very close state, hence it being a swing state. But for now, those are the projections for those states. Then we will go to the path to 270. So right now we have the the swing states of Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Nevada going towards the Democratic candidate, in this case Harris, to the Republican candidate, Trump. He is winning Texas and Florida. They have tightened up a little bit, but that will most likely remain. There would have to be a big change from the race for those 2 states to vote blue, so they are almost certainly in the Republican column. But then we also have on a little bit more narrow of a margin, the states of North Carolina and Georgia are in the Republican column. So if Trump is able to win a couple he would probably have to win Pennsylvania, and well, we can go back and do the math, but nonetheless there would need to be some states that would have to flip to the Republican side for Trump to have a chance at crossing the 270 electoral college vote threshold. Harris can afford to lose even Nevada and Arizona and still reach 270 electoral college votes. So Democrats are just really focusing on the Rust Belt there to make sure that if worse comes to worse, they can still get exactly 270 electoral college votes by going the way of the Rust Belt, which is definitely a possibility that may end up happening. May not be the actual end up case, but it's a possibility. And then we will go to some of the electoral college probability. We'll end here, but this has been just some of the latest polls and poll aggregates from 538 that we've been going through. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions about anything we went over today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.